Welcome to State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato. We're coming to you from the NJTV studio in Newark. That's the Agnes Veris NJTV studio. Pleased to be joined by our good friend, Roger León, Superintendent of the Newark Public Schools. Good to see you.
Good morning.
How tough is that job?
It's the most incredible job that I've ever had in Newark schools.
Challenging, though, because I know it's rewarding. We've talked about this before, but one of the biggest challenges you face today is?
Just establishing expectations. Everyone wants everything done immediately, which is understandably so, but everything needs to actually occur at a particular time. So people have the right ideas. It's just necessarily organizing the system so that we address the needs at the most appropriate time.
Roger, how many students are we talking about?
We have 37,000 students in Newark schools, an increase of about 800 from the previous year.
Why the increase?
Well, I think that people are understanding that the schools in Newark are designed to address the needs of their students, regardless of how their students come to schools, that we are actually impacting them in a very profound way, and people are finding that enrolling them in our Newark schools will accomplish whatever are the future dreams of their children.
So let's do this. Before we get into a range of specific issues about students' performance and other related issues, let me also share that we have a collaboration with the Newark Public Schools through a program, a leadership program we do called Stand and Deliver for Newark Newark youth, and the public schools are involved, as well as a group of nonprofits to help those students reach their potential. That being said, I talked to you right before we got on camera. Renovating the schools themselves, huge issue.
Oh, absolutely. Our oldest school was built 10 years before Abraham Lincoln was president. And so, you know, not only addressing their needs, but actually the request that we actually have of building new buildings all throughout the city in every single ward is an issue that is pressing us today.
Economics of that?
Definitely. So, you know, we have bond issues that will...
Explain it. That's borrowing.
That's borrowing. Technically, right now, the school district, as it's moving from state control operation to local control, still the Schools Development Authority is the actual agency that builds our schools. So as we're transitioning in every aspect of it, and there's a lot of work that we will need to do and money that we will need to save to actually build our schools.
Superintendent, you have in fact brought in props.
Yes.
You have this is called NPS?
NPS Clarity 2020.
Look at you holding it up to the camera.
It's a one-year strategic plan.
It is what?
It is a one-year strategic plan.
Lay out the keys to it.
There are 12 keys that are outlined in it. It's creating a new ecosystem in Newark that will redefine its schools and how we actually service children.
A couple of the top priorities.
Well, definitely, obviously, student achievement across all of our schools is one of the goals. It's redefining what schools are. So it's beginning at conception to cradle and going beyond college and careers. It's really redefining our role in a structure that really has boxed us in worrying about babies that are 3 years old and then their senior year in high school. We do not do anything prior to them arriving in school and what they do after they've graduated from high school. So it's redefining all of the aspects of the work from when the baby is in that mommy's tummy all the way until they've landed their first
Roger,
job.
stay on that. One of our initiatives that we're doing at the Caucus Educational Corporation, together with our partners in public television, is called Right from the Start NJ. They're about to put the website up right now, focusing on child care and the needs of infants and toddlers. That's particularly relevant in a community like Newark, getting kids ready for kindergarten.
Oh, absolutely. It actually starts a little bit before the baby's actually born. So when that baby's in the tummy, how to actually educate the mom and the dad and everyone who is worrying about that baby on how to worry about their own health, worry about the health of their child, and then prepare them in their months to their first year. There are certain actions that a parent needs to do to ready their baby, talking to the tummy, letting them know how proud they are going to be when they are actually born, and then when they are actually born, making sure that all of the medical needs that child actually has are being addressed. Being a parent is a very difficult thing, and part of what the school system is redefining itself as is a role on how to work and help parents do a far better job.
Roger, stay on this. I want to get to the water situation in Newark and its relationship to the Newark Public Schools, where it's relevant and where it's not. But in terms of this report, is there another priority you want to mention other than student performance?
Well, I do want to say that the important piece of NPS Clarity 2020 is to establish a foundation that assesses the last 23 years of state operation, as well as
the state control of the Newark Public
right,
Schools.
So the Newark Schools has been controlled, as people are probably aware, for the last 23 years. Last year was the move in a transition to local control. We will actually have full local control on January of 2020. Part of what NPS Clarity 2020 does is it assesses what occurred in the past, as well as provide insight on what we need to do by establishing a strong foundation for the next decade. So what will actually come in June of 2020 is a 10-year strategic plan that really will bring about the precepts that are outlined in NPS with full local control.
Real quick follow-up on that. This report also talks about supporting teachers. Back that up.
Absolutely. So the teachers are absolutely critical. They are closest to the most significant heartbeat in our classrooms, that being the children. So the work that we do with the children, the development, the professional development that they are requiring, as well as building a pipeline. We want stronger teachers to stay in the classrooms, but we want those who can be leaders to not only do that, but to be provided unique opportunities. And they can only get that if they actually accrue their master's, get their doctorate, and not only are we providing tuition reimbursement, but we're providing incentives with a new contract to really impress upon people to go beyond their initial years of schooling.
By the way, while we're talking to the superintendent, I want to clarify, later today on State of Affairs, I'm going to be taking an interview with the Commissioner of Education in the state of New Jersey, Commissioner Repillette, and one of the issues he'll be talking about is the diversification of the teaching workforce. Real quick on the water situation. Yeah. We're also talking to Mayor Baraka today of Newark about the city's water situation. Some call it a crisis. But the Newark Public Schools they've had issues about water. Is it a separate issue, Roger?
It is. In 2016, the DEP
Department of Environmental Protection in the state
approved a remediation plan that has been in play ever since. At that point in time, the district purchased industry-grade filters that are actually installed in every one of our water fountains, as well as sinks where we're actually preparing food for our children.
How do we know they're working?
That actually gets monitored every month across the whole entire school system. And if there are any problems with it, the interesting thing about this filter is that upon it not working, it shuts off the water. So we will know if it's not working because the water fountain or the faucet won't actually deliver any water to either the students or our staff members. It's been working. It's something that we obviously monitor very closely, and that is of great concern to us. And as of right now, we're doing okay.
Final question, Roger. For those who are outside the city of Newark or in urban communities throughout New Jersey and the other states we're seeing in who, quote, expect less from urban children and students in public schools, you say?
Oh, I don't think that people expect less from our schools.
Or they think they're capable of less.
I don't even know if that's actually true.
Just assume that some think that.
What I will challenge is this. If the rest of the state of New Jersey doesn't get it together, the city of Newark is going to prove that the folks that are lacking are the ones who don't live in the city of Newark. You see, what we're doing is establishing a new expectation for the children in our city, much, much higher than perhaps it has ever been experienced before. And our students are going to achieve it, which is the underlying premise of your question, that perhaps people believe that they can't. Because when Newark gets it together, what are the rest of the cities in New Jersey going to say about how they're servicing their children? I think that we're at a point poised to compete with the finest school districts in New Jersey, and we're extremely excited about working with those superintendents to accomplish just that.
Superintendent León has just laid the gauntlet down. It's a challenge. Thank you, Superintendent, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
This is State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from NJTV Studios in Newark. We'll be right back right after this.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of State of Affairs with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, NJIT, PSC&G, the Northward Center, the Turrell Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, and by Wells Fargo. Promotional support provided by New Jersey Globe, and by New Jersey Monthly,